Book 1, Part 3, Skywalker Strikes. It is a period of renewed hope for the rebellion. The evil Galactic Empire's greatest weapon, the Death Star, has been destroyed, and now the Rebel Alliance looks to press its advantage by unleashing a daring offensive throughout the far reaches of space. Princess Leia Organa has led a covert team of rebels in an attack on Cymoon 1, the largest weapons factory in the galaxy. But after rigging the factory's main power core to explode and rescuing dozens of innocent slave workers, their escape plan was thwarted by the unexpected arrival of Darth Vader. Now, the rebels must fight their way to freedom, using the Empire's own vehicles as their means of escape. And Luke Skywalker must remain one step ahead of the unstoppable Lord Vader, who is beginning to take an interest in the young rebel pilot.
Hey Web World, Scotty D, thanks for stopping by to another video here on my comic book series on my channel. And if you want to watch any of the other videos in the series, it's real simple to do so. All you have to do is go on over to my main YouTube channel page, click on playlist, then click on comic book collecting. It's that simple. You want to write me an email? It's equally as simple. All you have to do is drop a line to scott@scottydonline.com. And if you want to follow me over on Twitter, I do things there from time to time. It's @ScottyDOnline over on Twitter. Now, today we are talking about the brand new Marvel Star Wars number 3. Check out the cover art on this one. I love it. It's exactly where we left off the story in book number 2. A great scene of Luke on the speeder bike with his saber out. And we pick up where we left off in book number 2 with the fight to escape Cymoon 1. Now, Leia and Han are in the AT-AT, and Luke is on the speeder bike, just like we see here on the cover. Then we see Vader walking through all of the ruins with a shredded cape. Now, this is a very intense scene for the first page and very violent, I must say. And I continue to have a major problem with how John Cassaday draws Vader in this book. I didn't like it in book number 1. I didn't like it in book number 2. And he continues to disappoint in book number 3. So I think I'm just going to have to get over my issues with how Vader looks like in this book. I just don't like it. Now, I did like that there appears to be what looks like another Dathomirian race that is similar to Darth Maul in the first page. So I found that quite interesting. I'm not quite sure if it is a Dathomirian, but if it is, right on. I like that. If it's not, I'd like to know what race it is, because it really looks a lot like Darth Maul. Now, the escape continues with some sharp shooting and continued disappointment in C-3PO. This guy can't get a break. And I'm going to call C-3PO a guy, because he looks like a guy to me. He can't get a break. He's always being proper and trying to be polite, and he finds himself in hard times quite a bit throughout the entire saga of Star Wars. So just after we see C-3PO in a bind, I'll just say that, in comes Chewbacca to the rescue. And then we get a glance at some very familiar vehicles, from the battle tanks to the highly modified speeders. And I like that because it throws back to the original prequels that we enjoyed, episodes 1, 2, and 3, where we seen these vehicles show up, and we haven't seen them since then, so it's nice to see them show up here in this storyline. And even in the heat of the battle and the escape, Luke Skywalker remains calm and collective while jetting around on the speeder bike, and continued a horrible targeting of the stormtroopers, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if you put it 2 feet in front of them. I just don't understand how they train the way we see them train in Rebels, and we know that they are highly trained troopers, but they can't hit their targets for their life. I just don't understand that. Overseer Agadine has finally done something right in the storyline, and Vader appears in the ruins with a final plan to stop the rebels. And the pace picks up pretty quick here with a major issue with the Falcon, and a very familiar Han and Leia scene with the catastrophic failure of their AT-AT. So if you know what I'm talking about, we've seen this scene before, so it's a very familiar face-to-face with Han and Leia, and it felt very comforting to see that cell. Now, The fast pace in this section had me rereading it more than once to take in all of the action. Now, at the very end of this, Han is injured, and Leia is making commands to Luke that he's blatantly ignoring once again for the good of the mission. Very typical of what we know about Luke at this point in the storyline. Remember the targeting computer in the X-Wing as he's flying through the trench of the Death Star, and we hear Ben's voice come over in Luke's mind and says, trust in yourself, trust in the Force, and he turns the targeting computer off. The guys back in command are upset at Luke for doing it, but he knows that he's got to trust the Force and he's doing it for the good of the mission. So we see that happen once again in this storyline. And the next scene resembles the trench battle on the Death Star when Vader was trailing behind Luke in his highly modified TIE fighter. But in this scene, we see Vader in a speeder and Luke is on the speeder bike. And guess what? Luke does it again with his sharpshooting and a gruesome ending to the core. And I got to tell you, I was a little surprised at the ending of that particular section of the storyline. I was like, ugh, that's pretty nasty. You're going to have to read it if you don't know what I'm talking about, because I'm not showing you the cell here in this review. But suffice to say, it's not a way to get ahead in life. I'll leave you at that. Anyways, it appears Luke is doomed at the tail end of this section as the Falcon escapes Moon 1 and Vader's looking on. Now, Leia pushes the Falcon to all she can get to get it out, and then we notice something. Luke is on the Falcon, and I just didn't understand how he actually made it on the Falcon, given the scenes that we seen and read up to that point where they showed the Falcon. I was like, how did he get on the Falcon? He just said he wasn't going to make it. So that was a little confusing for me. How do you think he got it on the Falcon? Comment below. I'd love to read your comments on this one, because it's anybody's guess to my opinion. I was for sure thinking that he was stuck. I had no problem thinking that he wasn't going to survive, because we know he survives. He's going to be in episode 7. But how did he get on the Falcon? I just don't know. In any case, we now see Vader identifying Luke as the last great hope. And that's what it says in the book, the last great hope, which means in this part of the storyline, Vader is not in tune enough with his dark side of the Force to know that Yoda is on Dagobah. And so we know that he's going to get better training on Dagobah, but Vader's trying to make a claim that he's going to be the one to train him, as if it's not going to happen. We all know that Yoda's out there. Yoda's going to train Luke, and we know where that's going to lead up. But it's interesting to see that Vader says he's the last great hope. The crew and the rescued workers then go on to praise Luke's accomplishments, but Luke still lacks the confidence. And we see the lack of confidence when he gets to Dagobah and trains under Yoda to finish his Jedi training. So it's not uncomfortable to see Luke not being confident yet, as we know he's going to get that in Empire Strikes Back. But it's just interesting that they played upon that emotional part of Luke in the storyline, and I really, really appreciated that. Then we get to a jump cut. We find ourselves back on Tatooine with a land speeder. It's a highly modified land speeder going past Ben's old house. They're going to be dumping a body somewhere. And we see a package with Arabish writing on it that translates for Luke. So I actually brought up the Arabish language, the writings for the Arabish, and translated that to make sure that what they're claiming is what it actually says. And it's right there. It says for Luke. So we have to wonder what could be left in this package from Ben. Where in the storyline is Luke going to go back to Ben's house and find this package that says for Luke on it? And what's in it? I'm wondering if it has something to do with you've got to go to Yoda. You've got to go to Dagobah, something like that, because we know that Luke at some point in time says, I'm going to Dagobah. And maybe this is where we kind of get a glimpse of that message. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe he says something about Leia in it. Maybe he says something about Vader in it. Who knows? We're going to find out hopefully in the books to come. And the next book is set to hit the stands April the 22nd, 2015. Definitely a book to get in your pull list. I firmly believe that this is one of the best Star Wars stories that I've read in a while. I did a review on the brand new Leia book that just came out. I'll be doing subsequent reviews as the books come out. The Vader series, the book 1 was good. Book 2, not so good, but hopefully book 3 will pick up. But definitely get Star Wars in your pull list or your subscription or however you get your comics. Definitely get a hold of this storyline right here, this series, and make sure that you get all of the books up to this point. Get book number 1, get book number 2. Definitely get Vader number 1 because it ties into book number 1. Vader number 2, not so much. But get this into your pull, your subscription, however you get your comic books. And definitely comment below. Let me know what you think about this series. I'd love to read your comments. I'm actively in my comics responding to you guys who write in them. If you've got any questions you want to ask me about this or any other Star Wars series, definitely ask me a question either in the comment thread or drop me an email. The email account is scott@scottydonline.com. The Twitter account is @scottydonline. Until the next comic book review video, the comic book series video, anything I've got going on in this series or any other video here on my channel, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like, comment, share. If you would please share this video with somebody you know. And if you are already subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. And if you aren't yet subscribed, please do so. Until the next video, may the Force be with you. We'll see you next time, Web World.